A long time ago, 2007 to be exact, when I first got into eBay, it was a big thing back then, I made a purchase that I thought was a great deal. It was this Conrail SD45-2 from Athearn Genesis. It has the original MRC sound decoder in it. The seller said that the locomotive only worked in the forward direction and they only wanted $80 for it. I thought, a locomotive with sound in it, not likely that it only goes forward. So I purchased it, got it home, put it on the layout, and to my surprise and delight, it worked perfectly in both directions. For 7 years, this locomotive proudly pulled my automobile train, and it was a pleasure to run. It was one of my favorite locomotives. But then suddenly, in either late 2014 or early 2015, it just stopped working. And I'm going to show you the noises it was making at that time, and I really didn't feel up to taking it apart and dealing with it. So I tucked it away and figured I'll come back to it. Well, here we are 10 years later, and I've finally come back to it. Until last week, this is the sound you got when you put it on the rails. Anyway, you get the picture, or the sound. This is what it sounds like now. And now I'm going to walk you through step by step how I replaced the MRC decoder with a new Tsunami 2 decoder. Now, this is obviously not the first time I had removed the shell. As you can see, the decoder board is not clipped onto the motor. That's because I had investigated a little bit what was going on with the decoder and had to take it off the mounts to do so. I was very pleased to learn that the Tsunami 2s, or at least the PNP8 particular model, included power connections for the small grain of wheat bulbs that Athearn uses in its locomotives, so I didn't need to add any resistors or change the light bulbs. And here's the wiring diagram that Soundtrax provides for that purpose. MRC received a lot of bad press over the years for the quality of their decoders, but one of the things they did do right is they had included capacitors so you don't need keep-alives if their decoder is working properly. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the old and the new decoders. You'll notice that the Soundtrax unit is a lot shorter than the MRC unit, which leads you to believe mistakenly that it'll be an easy fit. Placing the Tsunami decoder on the mounting clips, you'll note that the left side of the board comes into contact with the speaker housing before it's able to seat itself down into the left clip. So my solution was to remove the mounting clip and then cut off the pieces that extended up into the mounting holes and move them over about 1/8 of an inch. So now the decoder sits nicely on the clips and does not come into contact with anything on either side. Unfortunately, there's only one tab provided for the 1.5 volt power supply for the headlights. So all of the lights, at least one of the 2 wires for each light, needs to be connected to this tab. To simplify things and have less clutter in the decoder area, I connected a lead wire to which all the other lighting wires would be connected. The next step was to connect the positive and negative wires to the speaker terminals on the board, followed by the positive and negative wires from the motor on the side of the board, and on each corner of the board is one of the 4 wires that connect to the trucks. The last connections to the decoder board are the front and rear headlight wires to one of the 2 tabs at either end of the board, because as you recall, the other tab is not used in favor of the 1.5 volt tab, to which I connected the lead wire, as I mentioned before, and as you see here, I've twisted together the remaining wires from the headlights front and back to that lead. For ease of maintenance and replacement of burnt bulbs, I decided not to solder that twisted jumble of wires together, but instead to use some heat shrink tubing. And one of those classic oops moments was when one of the tabs broke off that I had glued on the decoder mount. But I did manage to open it up and tuck it back in its proper place. I did have the camera rolling while I did my very first test, and the very last step in our little mini project here is to adjust some of the CV values to account for the specifics of this locomotive. I find the factory settings are very, very loud, so there was some adjustments made to the horn volume and the prime mover volume. I also set CV 153, the clickety-clack sound, to 0. For the life of me, I don't know why that's set at 150. I don't like to hear clickety-clack coming from a locomotive, particularly if there's continuous welded rail in use on the main line. I also made changes to suit the 20-cylinder locomotive on the SD45s and the Leslie SL S3L horn that I believe is correct for this locomotive. Well, with all that out of the way now, let's put our locomotive to use. The SD45-2s were in use a fair bit on steep grades in pusher service or helper service, and so Let's do that here. Our auto train appears to have stalled on the grade coming out of the helix. Let's call for some help. I'm sure you noticed quite a bit of grinding sounds coming from those clips. That's because I haven't done speed matching, and the SD45-2 I think wants to run a lot faster than the other locomotives that were in the consist. I'm going to hold off on doing the speed matching. There are some other Conrail locomotives that are due to show up anytime. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, here are a few others that you may find interesting. If you're not already a subscriber, you can click on the logo on the top right-hand corner of your screen.